Welcome to another episode of Roll Up a Power. So get your blunts rolled and your drink poured. Alright, so for this one, I'm gonna be talking about guns not being for you. Now, I done told y'all before, prison ain't for you. Now let me tell you about these guns. Alright? So, of course, I gotta always start it from the top so that it makes sense, right? So we gonna speak on me. Nah, I done told y'all before. Growing up my whole childhood life, from a child to a teenager to an adult, I was in these Detroit streets my whole life. And as you know, Detroit is one of the most violent cities in America. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely grew up in the trenches, but I never needed a gun. I know that sounds crazy, right? All right. So, as a kid, the way how I grew up, we banged three different ways. We gang bang, we block bang, we hood bang. What you mean by that, Mr. Roll Up? Okay. Gang banging, my bad. Gang banging, I was a GD. Now, you know, as far as the gang banging go, you got GDs, Vice Lords, Bloods, Crips, etc., right? That's the gang banging side. Then I was block banging too, meaning I was claiming my block that I was from. You know what I'm saying? So, the block that I'm from is Burt Road, right? Back then, well, it's still going on to this day, but just to say back then, your own block was separate from other blocks in your neighborhood. So even though all these guys in your neighborhood, y'all are from the same neighborhood, but y'all from different blocks. So it's a difference. You know what I'm saying? Niggas be like, oh, them Burt Road niggas, woo woo. All them Pearson niggas, woo woo. All them Blackstone niggas, woo woo. All them Bentler niggas, woo woo. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was a difference with the blocks. You know what I'm saying? So we block bang too. Also, the third way, hood banging. I'm from 7 Mile. 7 Mile is a hood. 6 Mile is a hood. 8 Mile is a hood. Finkel is a hood. Joy Road, Plymouth, Schoolcraft, so on and so on. Those are hoods. You know what I'm saying? So I banged three ways. I was a GD from Burt Road claiming 7 Mile. Banged three ways. And I never needed a gun. You know what I'm saying? I was a straight target at all times by three different ways. And I still never needed a gun. Let's go a little further into it, right? So, I done told y'all about my daddy. Me and him was real close like that, right? Now, the house that we lived in, my parents, they lived upstairs. I lived on the main floor, right? When my parents would go to work, this is around when I was like maybe 9, 10 years old, 10, 11, somewhere in between 9 to like 12 years old, somewhere in that time frame, right? They used to leave me at home by myself while they go to work. This is before my daddy started locking the door to their room upstairs. You know what I'm saying? And he started locking the door because they realized I was going through their shit while they was gone. But my whole point is that before he started locking the door, while they'd go to work, I'd go upstairs in their room. You know what I'm saying? I'd be going through their shit. So I was up there going through my daddy's shit one time. I found two guns. He had a shotgun and a Glock. You know what I'm saying? This was what? Like late 90s, early 2000s. You know what I'm saying? My daddy never talked to me about guns, not needing one, not to have one. He never even told me he had one. You know what I'm saying? Let alone come flashing it to me, hey son, this is what I got, just in case something happened, blah, blah, blah. Like, it wasn't never none of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, my daddy did not play like that at all. So growing up, I never would have known he even had a gun if I never even seen you? My daddy didn't do that show and tell shit. You know what I'm saying? It was just straight for protecting the house just in case something happened. Which is, that's the only reason why you should have a gun if you're going to have one. It should be straight for at-home protection. It should not be the carrying around and something happened, now you got to draw your weapon and kill somebody. It shouldn't be for that. You know what I'm saying? Because honestly, you don't need a gun, man. Society brainwashed us into believing that you need to have a gun for protection. If it wasn't so many guns out here, what would we need a gun for? Why is it guns out here in the first place? What do we really need guns for? Let's just be honest. What do we need them for as civilians, as citizens? What do we need guns for? We supposed to be the good guys. We the productive ones. We the ones that go to work. We the ones that make things happen, right? The only type of people that's supposed to need guns is like the military, the army, the Air Force, blah, 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 all of them type of people, right? Because they go to war with different countries, so on and so on. So what do us as civilians, why do we need guns? We was brainwashed into believing that we need them because other people have them and they'll try and shoot you and all of this. Well, where the fuck is they getting them from? You know what I'm saying? It was all a setup from the beginning. The thing with jails and guns coincide with each other. The system know that people is going to pick these guns up and use them against each other. And that's how you get caught up in the jailing system. A good 90% of guys that's in jail is in there for violent crime, guns and shit like that, right? Most of them, where is they getting these guns from? Most guys in the hood, they don't got no gun license. They never been to a gun range. And their guns is not registered. They stolen guns with 100 bodies on them. Where is these guns coming from? You know what I'm saying? You ever thought like that? Where the fuck do these guns come from? Right? I'm gonna come back to that, right? So again, growing up in Detroit, I'm banging 3 ways, right? Never needed a gun. Every time I ever had to face off opposition and all of that, it was always these hands right here. You win some, you lose some, but you live. You live to fight another day. That's one of the truest lines that ever came out from Friday when Pops had to holler at Craig, when Craig had to grab his gun to walk Smokey down the street because Big Worm was on that ass. What type of time was that? Because Big Worm had a gun. If Big Worm didn't have a gun, do you think he would have had stood up to Smokey and Craig and them? I think not. Most of these guys, they not shit without guns, man. And you know, you would think that these guys out here killing people, left and right, toting guns, you would think they some real tough street motherfuckers and all of that. Man, look. You would not know that these same people is some of the weakest people in the world unless you go to jail with them. You know what I'm saying? Nah, like I said, with me growing up from childhood to teenage to adulthood, I never needed a gun, ever. I've been all over the city. I've been in all type of whips, new and old, rims, paint jobs, sounds, all of that. $20,000, $30,000 in my pocket at a time, all of that. Now, I'm not saying that shit don't happen, but I'm just saying, for the most part, I never needed a gun. You know what I'm saying? The people that need guns is the ones that's into shit. Them the ones that's, you know, got that type of shit going on that need a gun. Now, I done told you I was banging 3 ways, and I still didn't need no gun. Maybe it's because I genuinely didn't need one, or God just had a halo over my head protecting me at all times. And I'm not saying that that couldn't have been true, but I'm pretty sure that wasn't the case. I'm pretty sure it was just the whole fact that since I followed the guidelines of not having to carry a gun, I didn't get faced with those type of problems. Because usually, usually the people that had those gun problems usually be the people that got guns. Let me say this real quick, right? Rest in peace to Tom. You know what I'm saying? Rest in peace for like Tom. This was one of my homies from the hood. You know what I'm saying? Now, he got killed by his own gun. You know what I'm saying? Him and another guy was arguing about a parking spot, right? Tom upped his gun on him. My man took his gun, beat his ass, shot him and killed him with his own gun, right? Prime example of why you don't need a gun. Because if Tone didn't have a gun on him, when they got to arguing, Tone will probably still, more than likely, will still have his life. He more than likely will still be out here doing his thing. But now that man been dead and gone for like 7, 8 years now. You know what I'm saying? All because of a gun. I've been knowing Tone since we was teenagers. You know what I'm saying? Tone never carried a gun, and he never had problems. But we grew up to be adults. He feeling himself. He getting money. What do? He get a gun. He get a gun. Now he got to use it. Now he got to show people, hey, I got this gun. I'll put this bitch on you. You know what I'm saying? I don't got to fight you. I'll just put this on you. And that shit backfired on him. This is another thing that I say that guns is not for you. Because guess what? Guns ain't loyal to you. Even though you got it on your hip and you ready to blow it at whatever time, you know how to use it, you know how to throw it, all of that, right? That same gun that you looking at for your protection will be that same gun that'll take you out. So stop thinking that you need a gun, because that gun ain't loyal to you. That motherfucker will backfire on your ass at any given moment. And the situation that I just gave y'all about Tone, that's exactly what happened. He got killed by his own gun. This happens all the time. Let me use another example of why you don't need a gun. How many times have you seen kids go in their parents' rooms, just like I was saying earlier? Now, before I go ahead and jump into that, let me throw this in there real quick. When I told y'all I found my daddy guns and shit, I knew not to put my hands on them. One of the reasons why I knew not to touch his shit was because, again, he never displayed that to me. So I knew it wasn't something that I needed to touch. Like, he never even showed me this shit. So why would I touch something that I'm not even supposed to know nothing about? You know what I'm saying? So that was out the window, you know? Now back to the kids finding their parents' guns, right? Most of these kids that find their parents' guns is because their parents display them in some type of way. They might have them sitting on the table while they sitting there watching TV. Or they got them on their hip when they walking around the house. Or they might be playing with them in the bathroom or something and their kids walk past and see it. More than likely, these kids be exposed to those guns. And these kids be like, hey, I want to play with the gun just like my daddy do. I want to play with that gun just like my uncle do. And then the daddy, uncle, mama, whoever, go take a nap. Or they leave the house for a minute. They run down the street to go to the store. Whatever the case is, next thing you know, their child is dead. How that happened? Their child found their gun and ended up killing themselves, playing with the gun. Sometimes kids get to playing with their parents' guns, don't even realize what it is. They just playing with it, boom, shoot themselves in the head, shoot themselves in the chest, kill themselves, right? And then you got sometimes where kids will be playing with a gun, trying to look all sweet with it, and boom, kill themselves playing with it. You know what I'm saying? So you got the ones that be playing with it that don't know what they doing, and then you got the ones playing with it that do know what they doing, but still kill themselves. They both still die on both sides, both ways. Guns ain't loyal to nobody. This is why you don't need a gun. Stop letting society tell you that you need a gun for your protection. You don't at all. Guns are destruction. Destruction is not what you need to progress in life. Let me say this too, right? How can I put it? Like I said, growing up my whole life, right? I never needed a gun. When it came down to it, it was always fighting, right? Now I'm an adult. Life going wrong for me. I'm in my early 20s. You know what I'm saying? All of the shit that I was doing, it all went out the window. I'm broke and fucked up at this point, right? So what I decided to do, I decided to start robbing people. So boom, I come across a pistol. Now I'm out here robbing people. My whole life, I ain't carry guns. I ain't need them. None of that shit, right? But now here I am running around in the streets with a gun robbing people. What happened with that? I got shot the fuck up. I got hit up 7 times. All because I was out here playing with a pistol. The shit backfired on me. Again, you don't need a gun, man. I didn't have no gun problems until I picked up a gun. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I could have went and got a job. I could have went and did this. I could have went and did that. But at that moment, I decided I'm going to pick up a pistol. Because I'm in the streets. That's just what street guys do. They graduate from the gang banging and the fighting to get to playing with guns. So here I am following suit. When I shouldn't have did it in the first place because I never needed it anyway. But honestly, I wasn't out here toting pistols to try and scare people or try and get my rank up or none of that. I was doing that to try and get some money. It was just that playing with them guns taught me a lesson. Like, you want to play with the gun, you're going to die by the gun. The famous saying, live by the sword, die by the sword. You know what I'm saying? I was almost a product of that situation. But I made it out. You know what I'm saying? So I'm here trying to tell you, before you call yourself getting out here playing with these guns or carrying these guns, that gun shit will spin a block on your ass. Here's another thing, right? To all the gun carriers, how often have you ever needed to use your gun? Like real talk, like you really needed to use your gun. I'm not talking about pulling it out trying to scare somebody or, make somebody think that you really cut like that because you got it on your hip and all of that. How many times have you ever had to pull that gun out and use it on somebody? I'll wait. Good 90% of y'all will probably say you never had to use your gun. And a lot of y'all have been carrying these guns for years. Gun permit, registered gun, on your hip, all of that. A good 9 out of 10 of y'all probably never had to use your gun. Not one time. Especially women. And it's not no diss to women. You know what I'm saying? But what's the chances? Now, I'm not saying that things don't happen because it do. But usually, you really don't need that shit. You know what I'm saying? It just be a decoration. Another thing with people carrying guns, on their hips and things like that. How many times have you seen a nigga snatch a nigga gun off their hip? So, you walking around with this gun on your hip for your protection, and then a nigga snatch your shit off your hip. Then what? That same gun that you using to protect you, now that gun is against you. This nigga snatched that bitch off your hip, you turn around, now he got your shit in your face. What you gonna do about it? That gun not gonna say, oh nah, he bought me. I'm for his protection. Take me out your hands. Put me back in my rightful owner's hands. Gun ain't gonna do that. That gun gonna be aimed right at you. And if the nigga behind the trigger pull it, guess what? That gun gonna smoke you. So again, all in all, you don't need a gun. And I know that this message is not gonna change the whole world or nothing like that. But to the ones that's watching, listen, right? Put the guns down, man. They don't do nothing but destroy. Let me throw this in there, right? Let me make it a little more sense. Think about guys in the hood in jail, right? Guys in the hood shooting and killing people all day long. 10 to 20 guys die in the hood every day from gunshot wounds, right? Think about the guys that go to jail for shooting people and shit like that, right? When they go to jail, ain't nobody dying in there. Why is that? Because they don't got no guns. Do the comparison from guys in the hood dying from gunshots, which might be about 20 guys a day, right? We just gonna use Chicago for example. We all know it's like 20, 30 niggas dying in Chicago every day from getting shot, right? Nah, compared to their jail, Cook County Jail, right? If you got 20, 30 niggas dying in the hood every day from gunshots, how many of them niggas that's in that county jail is dying every day? Maybe 1 to 2 guys is dying in that county jail daily. Maybe. How many days it go by that don't nobody die in Cook County Jail? You know what I'm saying? That's exactly what I mean. These guns is here to destroy. They not here to help us. They here to destroy us, man. You know what I'm saying? When I got shot up and all that for playing with guns and shit, and then I went to prison, I was in there with all them gun toters, them gun slangers. Niggas got 20 bodies and all of this shit, right? Them niggas wasn't nothing in there. They wasn't nothing without them guns. A lot of them niggas was nice as hell in that bitch. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't have never even known that they was really out here laying shit down. If OGs wasn't telling me like, hey, you know, dog was out there spanking shit. You know what I'm saying? What? Not that nice ass nigga. Yeah, he was out there spanking shit. See, that's the difference. Without that gun, that nigga ain't nothing. You know what I'm saying? And jail/prison prove that shit. Because you can't go in there with no gun. You only got these. You win some, you lose some. But you live. You live to fight another day. That's exactly why you don't have that ratio of killings in jail like you do in the hood. Because they don't got these. They only got these. So they live to fight another day. You know what I'm saying? Let me also say this too. Right? Where all these guns coming from? I'll wait. Because mainly people not buying them. Niggas getting them off the streets or in the hood somewhere. Where they coming from? Where's all these guns coming from? They not getting bought in the gun store. Where's they coming from? It's the government, man. The government placed these guns in the hood. They throw them in the bushes, you know, the alleys, you know, the fields, etc., etc. And they know that hood niggas is gonna be walking around. They gonna be walking around, they gonna find these guns. They find these same guns, guess what? Now they got guns. Think about these niggas with these Glocks, with these switches on them. You can't buy them in no gun store. So where is they getting these guns from? Those are military guns. Them army guns. Them is guns that they was using to go to war with Afghanistan and Iraq and all that type of shit. That was they guns. That's where these Glock switches and all of that crazy shit coming from. These AK-47s, these AR-15s. You know what I'm saying? These 50 caliber guns. Dog, a lot of these gun stores don't even got them kind of guns. But niggas in the hood got them. Niggas on the block got them. Niggas taking pictures with them. Blinkied up. They come from the government, man. When these trained forces, you know, tactic teams and things like that, when they done using those guns, they kick them out to society, man. That's just the real truth. And they get kicked out to society because they know that society is going to find them and society is going to use them. And guess what? They let society use them against society just so they can kill two birds with one stone. They could bring one into custody and they could bury the other. Now both of them birds is gone. Guess what they do with that stone? That gun. They throw it right back into society for somebody else to use it. Why you think it'd be 20, 30 bodies on a gun? They keep recycling them, man. They might have to break them down, clean them up, you know, add a little thing, a little piece to it, you know, take something away from it. Kick you right back out to society. And this is what we doing. We killing ourselves with this. While we thinking we need that shit for protection, it's destroying us. It's killing us, man. If don't nothing else that I said in this whole video made any sense to you, just think about that gun not being loyal to you. That same gun that you carrying that you think is there to protect you would be that same gun that could take your ass out. Is that what you want? Is that what you looking for in life? You need your gun to turn on you one day. Which it definitely can. It could backfire anything. It don't even necessarily it got to be pointed at you. The gun could backfire. Even though we use backfire as, you know, as a word, as a term, no, backfire is a real thing. Your gun can backfire and blow your ass. You know what I'm saying? Let's think about the game Russian roulette. When two guys sit down with a gun, they throw a bullet in the chamber, spin it around, pow, they pull in the trigger. Psh, hand it off to the next guy. Psh, hand it off to the next guy. Psh, they back and forth doing this shit until one of them finally catch that bullet and blow their brains out. It was used for destruction, man. Them guys could have fought it out. But they went to the extreme with guns. Again, that gun wasn't loyal to either one of them. That gun ain't jam and say, hey, you know what? Nah, neither one of y'all gonna die. This ain't how it go. That motherfucker gonna keep clicking until it get to that person that's holding it. When that bullet spin around in that chamber. And when it get to the top, and the motherfucker pull it, what that bullet do? Boom. Smoke that ass. Guns are not for you. I live a great life without guns. I done told y'all before, I signed a gun law after I got out of prison. Well, right before I got out of prison. I had to sign a gun law to get out of prison. Meaning that I can never possess a firearm in my life. I am a violent offender. I can't carry guns. And I'm completely fine with it because I don't need it. When I started playing with guns, that's when I got shot up. I got shot up and went to prison for playing with guns. If I would have never playing with guns, I would have never got shot. I would have never went to prison. It is simple destruction. You know what I'm saying? So again, stop thinking these guns is here to protect you. They straight destruction, man. And the government keep throwing them out here to us in society for us to keep on killing each other. It's an ongoing thing that's never going to stop. And the gun power is getting stronger and stronger because the government want us to keep taking each other out. That shit make them money. These guns that niggas out here playing with, you thinking them something new, they sweet and all that. Man, dog, the army and them, They played with them guns back in the 90s. You know what I'm saying? They just got higher power tools now to where they don't need them Glocks with switches and all of that shit. Man, look, perfect example. I'ma just use navigation, Google, that type of shit, right? Tracking, so on, right? They had that shit back in the 90s. They been had the navigation and they been had all of that. They just didn't give it to us until like, what, the mid 2010s and on up, somewhere around there. They been had that shit 20 years before they even presented it to us. For us to have Google and all of that, right? They been had that shit. How you think they was blowing up boats and shit, when the Navy go to war with these different places in the water and shit? How you think they was finding these boats and blowing them up? They had that navigation way beforehand. So again, all of these guns and shit you see out here, that shit came from the government, man. You know what I'm saying? And it's here to destroy us, man. So, let me say this one more time, right? Before you pick up one of these, remember, you have these for free. And guess what these are for? You win some, you lose some, but you live. You live to fight another day. With this one, you don't live to fight another day. When this one hits you, it's over with. So, guns are not for you. Take it how you want, but if you keep playing around with them, you're going to learn to understand that them things ain't loyal to you. They only loyal to themselves. It's been another episode of Roll Up a Power Up. So get your blunts rolled and your drink poured.